Hi, it's me, Rachel. Since it's the holiday time, I decided to use the spruce tree as today's topic, since I have one outside my house and every time I see it I think about Christmas trees. Spruce trees are the kind of tree that is used mostly in Northern Europe for Christmas trees, and here in America we use many different kinds of conifers to celebrate the holidays with a Christmas tree. And by conifer, I mean all those kinds of trees that produce a cone, like fir trees, blue spruces, pine trees, etc. And some interesting facts about Christmas trees in general is that the first known decorated Christmas tree was documented in 1510 in Latvia. Nowadays we have Christmas trees grown on farms for us to harvest in order to celebrate Christmas, and for those trees that are grown on farms usually take 7 to 10 years to mature. And Michigan, where I'm from, is one of the top ranking states in the production of Christmas trees, and they've been known to have the most variety, up to 13 different types of trees that they grow. And Norway has been known to gift New York City a gigantic Norway spruce for their Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center. Norway spruce is the kind of tree that I have outside my yard and is what I'm going to be focusing on today. But really, what is the point of having a real Christmas tree? I mean, what are the benefits of going out and getting a real tree instead of a fake one? Well, an acre of planted Christmas trees is able to sustain 18 people with their daily requirements of oxygen. And these growing Christmas trees provide habitat for wildlife in the area, such as birds and squirrels who use those trees for nests and to feed off of. They use the trees to feed off of the seeds that they produce in their cones. They feed off of the many insects that are living on the tree. Also, when you recycle your Christmas tree after the holidays are over, many of them have been used as soil erosion barriers, or they've been put into ponds and streams in order to create fish shelters. And also, whether your tree is recycled that way or not, it'll decompose faster than a plastic tree. Well, how do you know if it's a spruce tree? Well, unlike other trees like pines and firs, spruce trees grow each needle one at a time along its branch. So if you see here, this branch from the spruce tree has each needle coming off of its own little spot on the twig. And if all of these fell off, you'd be able to tell it was still spruce because there would be little bumps on the branch from where each needle had fallen off from. Now these needles, when you pluck one off, you'll find that they're very squarish or triangle in nature. When you put them on your fingers and you twirl them around, you can feel that it has edges on it. Unlike other trees like fir trees that will have these needles feeling much thinner and flatter. When you look at conifers, the needles on the branches are actually leaves. They're leaves that have been specialized in order to help keep the plant alive when they have a low water supply, such as when they have to make it through winter when all supplies are frozen. Now when these plants are reproducing, they'll produce male cones and female cones. So we all know what the female cones end up looking like, and you may realize there are some cones that are smaller and covered with a grainy sort of feel to them. Those are the male cones, and they have the pollen produced on them, and then they float through the air when the time is right, usually in the spring. The female cone will be open during that time, and it'll air pollinate into the female cone, where it can then produce a seed underneath all of these scales. So each one of these little flaps here along the cone are called scales, and they help protect the seed. The seed is going to grow inside of them, and while they are maturing, the cone scales will then close again and keep the seed sealed safely inside of it. The cone will hang from the branch until the next time it starts to dry out, which is the following spring, summer, and will open up again like this, allowing the seeds to drop from out of underneath each scale. Now with this kind of cone, when you find it, it helps you identify whether it's a spruce tree or not, because each kind of conifer is going to have a specific looking cone. The female cones and the male cones both look differently. This one here is a female Norway spruce cone, and it has been dried out, so it's opened up. The Norway spruce is going to have female cones that are 3 to 6 inches in length, and when they are wet or when they're forming seeds, they'll be closed up and are said to look like a cigar. And the final characteristic that I use when I'm looking for spruce trees, especially Norway spruce, is when the branches are growing off of the main trunk, they bow or curve upwards. And when that main branch coming off the trunk bow or curves upwards, it has all of the other smaller branches hanging down from that. Now these spruce trees are primarily found in the northern hemisphere, but while the blue spruce is native to North America, the Norway spruce is native to places like Norway and Sweden. So other uses for spruce trees besides cutting them down for Christmas trees is when they harvest them, they can also be used for lumber, made into boxes or crates. They're used to create the Stradivari violins. That's one of the more popular, good quality types of violins. They can be used to spice up beer and make spruce beer. And the resin that's inside of the sap in the tree can be used in ointments and oils to relieve muscle tension and increase circulation. And one quirky fact about the spruce tree is that in the New England area, the natives used to take the sap from the spruce tree, boil it down into sort of a chewing gum. This would be early pioneer age chewing gum, and the only flavor you would get would be spruce flavor. It was even sold commercially. Thanks for watching. I hope that was informative for you. I hope it helps you identify spruce in the future. Stay tuned for next month's video. I think I'm going to be doing it on the snowy owl.